Okay, how do I feel about surfing? My name's John Spong. I'm 48 years old, and I'm a surfer. I've become a surfer over the last few years. Came to surfing basically. I've had quite a tempestuous time the last few years of my life. Last sort of 5-6 years have been end of a big relationship, end of a marriage, and a divorce. And so, I decided that I wanted to do something to give myself a bit of focused time, independent focused time for myself during that relationship, and do something I'd always wanted to do. So I started surfing, and I was dreadful. It was dreadful for the first 3 years. I barely stood up, but it wasn't just the actual physical sporting act of surfing that I enjoyed at first, and that got me hooked. It was that focused time for myself, and I got immense benefit from it straight away, psychological, spiritual, and physical benefit from it straight away. So I guess it was a real, from the beginning. It gave me great benefit. So how do I feel when I'm approaching my surf sessions? Whatever state of mind I'm in, whether I'm in a good state of mind or a negative state of mind, I'm lucky enough to have a local break, and as I approach my break, I guess I feel the threads that attach me to the things that stress me out. I just feel them start to detach, and dissolve, I guess. I can kind of start to jettison stuff, but not consciously. But thinking about it now, as I'm analysing it, looking at it, that's what happens as I kind of enter a kind of ritualised state of mind. I enter a bit of a ritual, and as I pull up to my break, there's a concrete path that leads down to the car park off the main road. There's this concrete path, and so as I drive down there, I feel my spirit starts to lighten, and I start to enter a different kind of state of mind. And you get to the car park, and there'll be a few people there. On a good day there'll be 8, 10, 12 people there that and so there's a lovely camaraderie amongst surfers when you know each other, because it takes a certain state of mind. It takes a certain kind of bloody-minded tenacity, and a massive degree of stoke, and a kind of slightly unhinged personality to drive yourself at surfing as hard as you need to get it. So there's a kind of mutual respect. There's a lovely mutual respect, and there's a real nice vibe between the surfers that know each other. So as I approach my session, I feel myself, my spirit lightens, and I start to enter a calmer state of mind. So once I've got the machinations of the prep out of the way, suited on and van locked, ball waxed, I guess that's when once all of those kind of mechanical bits are done, then that's the start of my session. When I pick my board up and walk away from my van, I find myself, I enter a different state of mind. I enter a kind of childlike, well, not childlike, kind of, maybe I enter a more naive, kind of singular state of mind, less encumbered by myself. And on that walk, there's a lovely walk up to the beach where we surf, and on that walk I start to get excited, and I'm listening for the wind to bring me noises of the sea, just to start to try and picture what's going on on the waves. And then I guess the session starts proper. Stretch out, paddling. The paddle is quite sometimes it can be on a really easy day with a good period. the paddle can be a lovely kind of gifted experience. On harder days when there's a short period and there's a big inside section, you know, it's kind of quite it's a purging. It's almost a purging kind of. It's a battle to get out, you know, and it's a real struggle. And there's an immense sense of victory once you get out back, and you know, so there's a kind of purge that happens at our break, unfortunately, all the time. And yeah, and so then as the surfing starts, and during my session, depending on what my state of mind is and what's going on for me, I can either I kind of enter two different sort of states of mind. One is very, very reflective, and I kind of look at what's going on. I kind of have periods in a session where I'll reflect on my deep emotional stuff, you know, just when I'm just there, it's me and the sea. I find such great solace there and such space. It's easy for me to be honest with myself. When the clamour and the noise drops away of the world, it's much easier for me to see things really clearly out there, you know. And I've had some, you know, there's often when I've been in turmoil in my life, often I've been out in the water on my, you know, not on my own, but pull myself away from the group, and I'll have tears in my eyes, I'll weep, you know, because I have the space I've got that space, and that I feel like it's such an honest experience for me. It's very profound, surfing for me, you know, that I give myself the space to experience those kind of emotions, you know what I mean? And I don't hold anything back, you know, because otherwise I'll be missing out on the great adventure that surfing is, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I can become very reflective, you know, just for periods. Obviously, as soon as you see a wave coming, that's the great thing, that you have these periods of reflection during, like, between sets, and you know, I'll see a wave coming, and at that moment suddenly everything drops away, and you know, I have this utter singularity of thought. You know, nothing else is in my mind apart from the experience, this immersive experience that I'm going through. You know, the wave approaches, and is my alignment correct, and what's my timing going to be like, and you know, is it going to break left, is it going to break right, am I looking over my shoulder enough, kind of get myself aligned into that, you know, try and be as mindless about that moment as possible, because the less you think sometimes the easier it is. You know, but you have to be aware of that stuff. It kind of has to surround you, but not shout at you. You know. So yeah, and then the paddle, and then sometimes the pearl, but then the paddle, and sometimes the wave. You know, and then that's out of this world. It's just, you know. I imagine, you know, if there are gods out there, you know, that's how they can feel. It's just so elemental for me, harnessing that power, you know, being the expression of that wave. Without a surfer on it, that wave just crashes voiceless into the beach, but with a surfer on that wave, you know, it has a voice. In its last greatest moment, we're the expression of the sea, we're the expression of the ocean, and it's a wonderful thing for me. I love it, I adore it, you know. And then you're off, and you turn in, and you're paddling again, and so yeah, a lot of my stuff drops away out there, you know. Sometimes I'll speak to other surfers, but often, most of the time, you know, I'll be there just immersed in nature, you know, with a view of the world that few people get. You know, of all the people that live in Sussex, there's a handful of us that see the beach from our perspective, you know, watch the sun rise out of the sea over the Seven Sisters, you know, and we all catch each other's eye, you know, when on those beautiful mornings when we're on Dornies and the sun's rising, or on those glorious copper burnished evenings when the sun's setting, and we're there together. You know, there's that deep understanding between the soul surfers. You know, there are lovely moments out there with barely any words. You know, So yeah, so that's the, you know, that's the session. And then at some point, usually, you know, when with us at where we surf, because we, you know, we have quite wind-blown mushy sessions, so we, you know, we get tired, and you know, at some point you have to say, right, I'm calling it now. You know, your body tells you when it's time to go in, or the waves tell you. The waves disappear, and you either catch a wave in, or you paddle in, and then there's the, I wrap my, you know, I take my board out of the water, I wrap my leash, I walk up, but I never walk straight off the beach. I always turn, and I look out to sea, and just see if there's any of my brothers or sisters still out there, you know, and maybe catch a wave from someone, or not, you know. Just, I always turn, and just, it's a little moment of I guess a little moment of thanks, and yeah, of recognition for the experience I've just gone through. And then the walk back to the van and the change is just, sometimes can be just really cold, but once that's out of the way, once the machinations of that process are out of the way, just that I always feel like more peaceful, and, you know, more resolved, and I feel a deep relaxation after I surf. You know, sometimes there are stories and laughs if you're with a crew. Sometimes, you know, a lot of the time we surf on our own, and then there's that lovely relaxed, reflective headspace. But yeah, I always, without exception, even if I've had a dreadful session, you know, luckily as you progress, those dreadful sessions get fewer and further between. But yeah, I always feel like a better person after I get out. Peace.